morning, good afternoon, and welcome to our new show, Develop Your Edge with Anthony Crudele. And I say it's a new show. It really isn't a new show. It's a show that Anthony's been running for quite a few years, but we are kind of doing something new here. Before we get into it, I do want to remind everybody, though, that futures and options trading contains substantial risk, is not for every trader. You could potentially lose all or even more than all of your initial investment. So that's why we recommend you use risk capital. What is risk capital? It's money you can afford to lose, doesn't keep you up at night, doesn't extend your retirement horizon. Also want to remind everybody that past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results, and what we talk about here in this show contains neither trade recommendations nor financial advice, should be taken for educational purposes only. And with that, it is my pleasure to welcome back Anthony Crudele. Anthony, how you doing?
Great to be back, man. I'm excited to come back and do Develop Your Edge with you guys at NinjaTrader. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know. My Thursdays were I was feeling a little bit lonely because we weren't doing our regular show. It's been a couple weeks, but it's so great to see you and so great to have you back on. And really, you're having me on, right?
Yeah, it's a little different. The one thing about Develop Your Edge that's different from, well, actually, there's a lot of things different between Develop Your Edge and Benefits of Futures. What we tried to talk about with Benefits of Futures was the benefits, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. When you get to Develop Your Edge, now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. And I've always said there's a big difference between learning how to trade versus learning how to become a trader. In becoming a trader, you have to really develop and harness your edge. And that's mindset. That's the technical aspect of things. That's the context and nuance of the situations. And so with Develop Your Edge, each and every week when we come in, we're going to be talking about ways that I'm really looking at to help you guys develop a better edge in day trading the markets. So it's much more about learning how to become a trader than it is just learning how to trade. And so I'm just trying to elevate everybody to that next level.
And I love that because, your experience as a trader certainly is, it's what you do, it's who you are. So it's something that I think, watching previous shows of yours, it just kind of is easy to talk about, right? It's easy to just, whatever the lesson of the day is or the lesson of the week is, it's coming from a place where you've probably learned that lesson many times, right? And yeah. I love it. That's great. So I'm really excited. And I'm also excited because it's going to be a weekly show. It's not going to be bi-weekly. Yeah. It's going to be something where we have a little more momentum. We have a little more consistency, which I like. I think, like anything that you want to do well in life, there's repetition. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep in practice. And one of these things, Develop Your Edge, coming back here every week to talk about what is the topic of the week? What is the topic of the day? How can we learn from what happened this week, right? I think that's very important.
One thing I will say to everybody is that, why I started Develop Your Edge is because I remember when I thought that I developed an edge in trading, right? We all sit down at the charts, we look around and we say, look, I found it, right? This works. Oh man, I'm just going to trade this. And you could feel that way when you find an indicator or a strategy that all of a sudden you get results that you were looking for. And you feel as though that's going to be something that makes you money forever, right? We all think that way at some point, when in reality, down the road, we realize that's not the case. Developing an edge is something we have to do every single day, every single week. Nobody ever truly makes it in this business. You're constantly evolving and adapting. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard that before. But what are the things you're doing to develop that edge in this current market? Let's face it, these markets right now are so busy. And I think it's a great time to bring Develop Your Edge back live. It's because right now, a lot of these days are types of days we've never seen before, especially for new traders. You may not have seen a lot of different types of days, right? So every day right now, even for myself, 25 years into this, some of these days are just like, wow, this is all new. Well, what do I have to do to take advantage of this day? What do I have to do to take advantage of this market? And so one of the things that we will go over every week is identify the context of the situation, understand the environment. See, most people, when they build strategies, they build strategy in a single type of environment, right? Where they're looking at their strategy, they're assuming that this environment that they're in is going to be the market environment that we may stay in for a long period of time. And sometimes that is the case. But then you get a new environment like right now, where data every day is having a massive impact. Obviously, the Fed, it goes without saying. There's all these other different elements that are coming into the day each and every day. So how do you identify that environment, and what are the things that you're doing to become a better executor of your strategy? One of the things that are the most important lessons that I've learned in my career is that it's not the strategy that returns the results. It's the best executor of that strategy that returns the best results. So if you think that way, that allows you to come into the day and be open to learning and saying, how can I get better at trading this strategy? Right? How can I get better at it? Because most people will make the mistake of, oh, all of a sudden I found this strategy that works. It's great. And now it doesn't work. And you're like, this strategy sucks. Right? And you're going, I'm done with it. And then you go back and you try to learn a different strategy or find a different strategy, which is why probably so many educators out there are always in business, because people are always looking for a new type of strategy. When in reality is, you didn't truly have a strategy. What you did was you had I guess I don't mean that you didn't truly have a strategy. You had a strategy that you truly didn't understand. You didn't understand the context and nuance. You didn't understand how to execute it in different environments. And what I'm going to teach you each and every week is look at the market and identify what the day is before the day begins, right? See the environment. Understand, how have you traded in this type of environment before? What does that mean when you go in and trade this day? Because that, to me, it goes back to what I said. That's the difference between learning how to trade. I could teach anybody how to trade a strategy, but to become a trader, you got to constantly develop your edge.
Well, and that's a great point with, talk about strategies. I worked many years developing strategies for clients. And one of the things that was very difficult to relay, or it's something I stressed, but it's something you have to learn, which is you could create the best strategy on paper or in a platform, but that first trade out of the box, if it's not going your way initially, you just have to stay the course, or you have to know your risk. That brings in, of course, risk management, but you have to be able to say, hey, it's not all going to be winners. How do you deal with that? And that's, I think that's something that it's very easy. We have tools that make trading look a little bit easier than it really is. And you've got to know that as a new trader going in, especially like you said, these days, these are wild days.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and look at anything on paper when the market's not live, and it could look like a great strategy. But how good are you going to be at executing it? This business comes down to execution. I remember being on the trading floor, and I put this tweet out the other day. It got a lot of traction. And I was talking about how all of the veterans told me all these different things that I should do or I shouldn't do. And until I truly learned them on my own, and I actually went out there and traded for myself and just make my own mistakes. This is a hands-on business. You never truly learn how to become a good executor at something. That's why I've said so many times, we get towards the holidays, give yourself the gift of time in this business, because once you think you figured something out, the market changes the song a little bit, right? It changes the tune. Then you've got to figure it out again, and then it changes again. And it's a constant change. That doesn't mean that it can't be figured out in certain instances. But one thing I want to really hammer in is that you make money in moments, and how you develop an edge as a trader is by identifying those moments, recognizing the situations, understanding yourself, understanding your strategy, understanding the environment, and then going out there and taking, if the market is giving you what you want, but also learning that if it's not giving you what you want, that self-awareness and that response from the market, that you don't give too much to the market. And that's why I said really from the beginning is that when you're developing an edge, it's mental, it's physical, it's obviously with your strategy. It's all of these things combined and getting them to work together. And that's where you truly become a trader.
I love it. I love it. And I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it. One thing I want to point out on your Develop Your Edge show, you have a great feature, I think, really interesting tweet of the week, something that you highlight could be from you, right? It's a little bit of promotion there, but that's great. I mean, it could be from somebody whose ideas, thoughts you agree with and are relevant to becoming a better tweeter. And I think we're definitely going to continue that. But we're also going to introduce something new. We're going to allow you, the viewer, to submit your questions. So we want to have more of a formal way of doing that. You can go on Twitter and submit a question. Just make sure that you have the hashtag Ask DYE, develop your edge, Ask DYE. So hashtag Ask DYE, along with the our handle at NinjaTrader. That'll allow us to kind of collate and pick some good questions so that you the viewer can be involved as well.
Yeah, I challenge all the traders listening to this right now. Put some questions out there. Talk to us about what's happening with you. What are some of the things that maybe you feel are missing in your strategy? What are some of the things that you're doing well? And ask me these questions with that hashtag that Tom mentioned. Go to NinjaTrader's Twitter, and we'll bring those questions. We're going to pick a question and really highlight that each and every week. There will be a giveaway along with that. Remember, this is about making you better. This is about making all of you better. So if you participate in this, that really, to me, I know one thing, that when I started to actually do these types of videos and do things and be expressive with where I really was, and most of you that have followed me know that I'm very honest about where I'm at. I do some things really well sometimes, I do some things really bad sometimes, but I'm an open book, and that allows me to get over some of these things I'm struggling with. So sometimes just talking about them and being open with them, you actually are on the path to healing. So I hopefully that you'll use that Twitter and that hashtag AskDYE to participate in this, because I think that once you start to do that, I think it will also be a relief in helping you get over some of these maybe these issues that you're having, and hopefully with some of the stuff I'll be doing in the show can help you along with that.
Yeah, and to kind of further along that, if you the viewer have a question, odds are some other traders, new traders, established traders, they might have the same question. So I think it's good to share. We know that trading, if you're trading alone in your home and at the coffee shop, wherever you're trading, it isn't always exactly it could be a lonely existence sometimes, right? You're focused, you're alone, and so sometimes to break out of that, hopefully you can come to the show and learn from other traders. Hopefully we'll build a community that you can, you'll definitely be a part of. And Anthony's been doing this for a few years. I think you'll find a lot of benefit from what he has to say. So I'm really excited to be a part of this, and kind of benefits of futures. It was a good show for what it was, but we know what the futures can do. Now it's more about focusing on you and honing your trading acumen and developing that edge so you can become a better trader and come back tomorrow. That's what we all want to do, right? We want to come back tomorrow to trade again.
I want you guys to last longer, and I want to help take you and elevate you to the next level. So send us those questions at AskDYE. Go to NinjaTrader's Twitter page and put some questions in there for us for next week, because I've got a lot of stuff I want to be talking about. It's a crazy time of the year as we get towards the end of the year in a massive bear market, and I'm going to put some context to what's happening, and we're going to talk about getting you a stronger edge. So I look forward to it, Tom. I'm really excited about it.
Oh yeah, me for sure. For me too. This is really going to be exciting, and I love the fact that we're going to be weekly. I mean, it's just, you keep that momentum going, and it's a fun conversation. And I learned a lot from you, Anthony, already, and in the benefits of futures. And this to me is just going to be more of that learning experience. So I'm looking forward to it. I just want to remind everybody that next week we will jump right into it. We will have those questions ready, as long as you guys send them to AskDYE, hashtag AskDYE on Twitter, using the @NinjaTrader handle. We'll definitely have content for you. We'll help you develop your edge, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Same here. Hi, Anissa. Great tweet. And I see Anissa in a lot of the shows. Thank you so much for tweeting. And it's weird, today, Tom, I didn't realize it when I look at it on the camera. I feel like on my background, I've almost got the red and green candles. Kind of looks
Oh,
like that, doesn't it? I've
it
got the
does. It
wrong light,
does.
and all of a sudden it's like people are probably thinking, is Anthony talking about Christmas already? And I kind of got this green and red candle thing going. It's pretty. I'm going to come up with something a little bit different for next week, but
We're,
yeah,
we're
I'm
going to
looking
call
forward
that
to it.
we're going to call that the Crudele candle pattern right there. What you have right
I
there.
know,
I love it.
I know it.
Yeah, and great. And Anissa, thanks for viewing and contributing. And she joins in our shows as well in the bookend shows. So great to see her here. And again, please feel free to send questions our way through Twitter. We'll be doing a little more fun stuff with that. We have some exciting plans for that, including some giveaways like Anthony mentioned. But until next time, we'll be back here 10:30 Thursdays is when we'll be doing this. That's 10:30 Eastern time. So in the meantime, I want everybody to have a great trading week, and we'll see you next time.
See everybody. Put those questions in Twitter.